Alright, y'all. I just finished replaying Sonic Adventure and I want to yap about it for a bit. Alright, this game has 7 different campaigns, so I'm just gonna start from Sonic and then make it all the way until the final campaign. And I'm just gonna yap about them individually. Alright, so Sonic's campaign. He has the longest campaign out of all the characters and probably the best campaign. It's well, I can't even say that it's just normal Sonic gameplay that you would know, because Sonic Adventure gameplay is pretty different from the normal boost games. These games give you the most control over Sonic out of like any other 3D Sonic game out there. You know, more than Sonic Generations, Forces, that slop ass game, all the other modern Sonic games you can think of. It gives you way more control over Sonic, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It makes it so the gameplay is way more engaging because you're actually having full control over Sonic almost the whole time. There's very few like cinematic take away the controller type of moments. But the issue is first off, this game is just old, so it's a bit buggy and the camera can be annoying. And also I played the Sonic Adventure DX edition for Steam, which is notoriously probably one of the most buggiest ways you can play the game. You can add mods and make it the best way to play the game on PC, but the default vanilla PC experience is definitely one of the glitchiest. And yeah, giving full control over Sonic can make it so a lot of like jankiness can be there because you're moving such a fast character. But even then, besides that, it's still really fun campaign. Attacking enemies in 3D isn't difficult in this game either. He has a normal homing attack. You jump and then you hit the jump button again. He'll automatically lock onto something. And then you do unlock power-ups throughout the campaign. This is for everybody. And for Sonic, his power-up is the ring dash. Pretty much any line of rings, he could just dash through them, and wherever the rings go, he'll go. It's a pretty decent move. It is a bit clunky though, because you have to charge up a spin dash and then you can do it. But yeah, and the basic rundown for this game's story, it's a bit different for each character's perspective, but it's all the general same thing. Pretty much there's this like god of destruction thing. His name is Chaos, and he gets more powerful the more and more Chaos Emeralds he absorbs, and Eggman wants to use Chaos to destroy like the big main city of the game so that he can build Eggman Land over it. So pretty much Sonic is trying to get to the Chaos Emeralds before Eggman so he can prevent Chaos from going to his final form. And yeah, pretty simple story. Doesn't take itself too seriously. Not as serious as Sonic Adventure 2, but definitely is a big jump from just the basic 2D Sonic game stories from the Sega Genesis era. Another quick little thing before I talk about the next campaign is that the Sonic Adventure games have something called a Chow Garden. In Sonic Adventure 1, it is definitely more simpler. Well, that's a strong word, but it's more tame than it is in Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure 2 just has probably the better Chow Garden. I remember as a kid spending way more time in the Sonic Adventure 2 Chow Garden than in Sonic Adventure 1. But if you don't know what the Chow Garden is, pretty much you just raise like these alien looking motherfuckers. They're called Chows, and you whenever you destroy like a robot in the main campaign, a little animal pops out, and you can collect those animals, give them to your Chows, and they'll start to like level up certain stats, and you can put them in like racing competitions and stuff like that. And depending on the animals you give them, it changes their appearance too. So yeah. Alright, so moving on to Tails' campaign or story. His story is shorter than Sonic's, and pretty much everyone besides Sonic has a pretty short campaign. But Tails' campaign, his gameplay is pretty much you just have to race Sonic to the end of the stage. Sometimes you race someone else. I think one time you race Eggman, I'm not too sure, but either way, you're racing someone to the end of the stage. It's pretty much the same exact stages as Sonic. It's just Tails doesn't have a spin dash, but instead he can fly for a little bit, not too long, but enough to make it so he can take shortcuts to beat Sonic to the end of the stage. Pretty simple. His story is like pretty much the same story as Sonic. You don't even realize it, but when you're playing as Sonic, Tails is with you in the level for a lot of the times. You don't really notice though, because unlike the 2D Sonic games, you can't like have Tails fly you around anywhere, so you kind of just forget that he's there. But yeah, pretty much same story as Sonic. You just race him to the end of the stage. And then you have Knuckles' campaign. Knuckles' campaign I think might be my second favorite. It's not as good as Sonic's, but pretty much with the Knuckles campaign, shards of the Master Emerald get spread around the world, or the levels or whatever. Pretty much you play as Knuckles and you're hunting down Master Emerald pieces throughout the level. There's like a little radar on the bottom. Also, if you could tell, the HUD looks a little bit weird because I was playing the game in 4K. Another glitch from the game. Not really a glitch, but you know, the HUD menu elements shrink down significantly depending if you're playing on a higher resolution. But yeah, anyways, you play as Knuckles, you use the radar to find the shards, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. A lot of the other campaigns are pretty simple, but it's fun. It is nice, and it's not too difficult to find the pieces. And then you have Amy's campaign. Amy's gameplay actually low-key has a lot of potential that could maybe be way better in a remaster or a remake of this game. But so pretty much you play as a slower Sonic, but she has a hammer. And also there's this robot that's chasing you for pretty much almost all of her campaign. It's pretty much just Nemesis. She has like this robot Nemesis just chasing her all the time. I feel like if you made her hammer combat way more like, you know, in depth, way more deeper, that could be fun. And then if you made the Nemesis robot just more of a threat in general, because he's kind of a cupcake in this game. He's super easy to run away from. And then you have Big the Cat's campaign. His campaign is probably the worst out of all of them. Pretty much his pet frog just starts running away, and all the levels that you have with Big, you're pretty much just fishing for his frog. It's pretty boring, it's pretty janky. Another glitch you can see, because I was playing in 4K probably, his lives and the little meter for the fishing rod isn't even fully on the screen. But yeah, it's just a really boring campaign. Good thing is that his is probably the shortest. It's like 30 minutes, dead ass, I'm not even joking, including the cutscenes. I'm pretty sure it's a really short campaign, and you can get through his levels pretty quickly, but it's still, his campaign sucks, that's for sure. And then you have the last normal campaign of the game, and that's Gamma. And pretty much you play as Dr. Robotnik's, or Eggman. He starts getting called Eggman in this game for the first time, I'm pretty sure. You play as one of Eggman's robots, and he starts to grow a conscience, and he realizes that, you know, animals are being enslaved to control these robots, and he's like, I need to free the animals. And you know, he starts hunting down his fellow robots and starts freeing the animals, and even at the end blows himself up, or he gets blown up. I forgot exactly how, but pretty much he gets destroyed himself, letting the animal free. The story is honestly pretty decent for him. Could definitely be fleshed out once again more in a remake. But yeah, in his gameplay, it pretty much is run and gun. It could have been fleshed out more, and obviously it had some sort of potential because they reuse his run and gun mech gameplay in Sonic Adventure 2, but once again his campaign is extremely short, so they just don't have time to flesh it out, and that's a big problem with a lot of the campaigns. Just they're way too short for anything to really be fleshed out or expanded upon. And then you have the final story or campaign, Super Sonic. His isn't really a full-blown campaign, it's kind of just a big finale. You only unlock the Super Sonic campaign if you complete all the other campaigns. So it is a bit of a pain in the ass because you have to play the good characters and even the shitty characters in order to get this final finale. But pretty much, Chaos absorbs all the negative energy from the Chaos Emeralds and goes to his final form, flooding the city, destroying everything, while Sonic absorbs the positive energy from the Chaos Emeralds and turns Super Sonic. And you have this big finale with Crush 40 playing in the background. Banger ass music, by the way. But and yeah. It's one of the easier final bosses in a Sonic game, like ever. You pretty much just have to try to get enough momentum to run through Chaos, do like full circles around him, and then pop out of his mouth, and you do damage to him like that. Pretty simple boss fight. Cool moment though, cool music, and a nice finish to the game. But yeah, that's my yap session on Sonic Adventure. Really like this game, even though it got some jank to it. One of my childhood games. I used to always play it. It was one of the first games I ever got on Steam. Probably, more than 8 years ago. Definitely a classic. Really like it. Do I like it more than Sonic Adventure 2? I'm not too sure. When I was younger, I did like this game more than Sonic Adventure 2, but I don't know. It's different now. I gotta replay Sonic Adventure 2 before I decide whether I like this game more or not. But yeah, that's about it for the video. Peace out.